2011, I crossed roads with the Ministry of Public Health in Madagascar. I had a meeting with them asking if they would be interested in establishing occupational therapy in the country. Miraculously, it was the same time that they had written a national strategic health plan to improve and build the capacity of the rehabilitation services in the country, which included establishing occupational therapy. And that began the journey of growing the nation's therapy programs in Madagascar, where we started to connect with key partners, including the Ministry of Public Health and the University of Ankatsu, amongst others, to begin this new profession in the country. Occupational therapy is important in Madagascar. People have the right to participate in occupations because occupations give meaning to life, it gives hope, it gives a sense of joy, it gives a sense of value. Disability and poverty goes hand in hand. A lot of people are poor because of disability. People cannot return to work because of sudden onset disabilities, or people need to stop working to care for another family member who has a disability.
Ny zavatra nisy manko, zay tany amin'ny faritany zany aloha dia tsisy rééducation natao, fa dia nipetraka fotsiny amin'izao. Dia rehefa niakatra taty Antananarivo zay zany, vao nanao an'ilay éducation, zay vao hita ny fivoarany sy ny fahatanjahana. Ny zavatra nisy teo amin'izao zany rehefa nahazo an'ilay fitsanganana izy taloha izy dia mandady, dia mividy pataloha foana satria loaka ny lohalika an'ilay pataloha. Fa amin'izao izy zany efa mitsangana miaraka amin'ilay déambulateur, tsolotra ny pataloha. Ny ergothérapie dia tena manampy andronio mihitsy aleo tena, satria zany hitantsika zany izy teo fa mandady izy ny talohany manao baolina. Dia hatramin'ny nanaovana an'ilay ergothérapie sy ilay fitaovana tany amin'ny innovation dia hita fa efa mitsangana izy zany, dia izay ny ananako fanantenana fa andeha izy.
The vision of growing the nation's therapy programs is to make therapy and therapeutic services available to people who don't have access to these services. And that's specifically a model for developing countries where there will never be enough qualified therapeutic staff available, and people need to find creative solutions to make therapy available where the needs are. Developing the profession of occupational therapy in Madagascar comes in different phases. Our first phase was to establish an education program, a national association, and create employment opportunities for the newly qualified occupational therapists. And we are now at the very exciting end of the first phase, where our first occupational therapists are being qualified and will begin working for the Ministry of Public Health in 2018.
I love working with Growing the Nation because it gives me an opportunity to help people, and the people that we work with is like gain back their value, and they are feeling independent and getting joy.
People who access therapy often need devices, and we've been accessing various new designs and patterns to develop low-cost devices with national materials so that we can give access to devices within the context. Sometimes we do home visits or community inclusive development where we help place children in inclusive education schools or where we adapt people's home environments. In Growing the Nations, we work often with children, as almost half of the population are under the age of 18. You will see a child like Jody who has a physical disability. In the beginning, that child cannot do anything, and occupational therapy helps the child to begin to play, to begin to use his hand, to begin to engage on a social level. Right now, Jody received a standing frame, for example, but the standing frame does not represent standing. The standing frame for that family represents the hope of a different future.
We have working with Judy for about 2 years, and in the beginning when we are received Judy, he's very low tone, very floppy. But after a session with him, he was start gaining some tonus, like head control, and now you can start sitting alone without support.
We would be so glad if you would consider partnering with us and the Growing the Nations Therapy Programs team through donating. We cannot do what we do without the donations of people around the world. No matter how big or how small, every donation is making a tangible difference here in the lives of people with disabilities. Without those donations, we cannot do what we're doing, and we thank you for considering being a partner with us on this journey and adventure.